John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have over 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I've spent time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the three generally recognized credit bureaus in the United States. All right, this question is for consumers who have a very, very limited amount of information on their credit report. And specifically, you may have heard the term credit invisible. It's a term that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, started using a few years ago to describe consumers, to kind of give a name or a face to a group of consumers who have either chosen to live off the credit grid, are new to the country, and therefore have no credit in the U.S., or are relatively young and just haven't had an opportunity to start using credit, like someone my age who's been using credit for decades. So a credit invisible is someone who, generally speaking, has a very limited amount of information on their credit report, maybe one or two accounts, or their credit reports are unscorable, meaning that their credit reports don't qualify for a score under any of the credit scoring systems, FICO and VantageScore. FICO and VantageScore's credit scores both have what's called minimum scoring criteria, which means that your credit report, just because it exists, doesn't mean that it automatically is going to be scored. Your credit report has to qualify for a score. It has to have enough information on it in order to generate a valid score. So someone who doesn't have a score, someone who otherwise has a relatively thin or young credit report, is usually considered to be some sort of credit invisible. And those folks, unfortunately, do not get as good of deals on credit products as people who have a mature and voluminous credit report. So now that you know what a credit invisible is, how do you become credit visible? Well, to become credit visible under the contemporary credit reporting environment is you've got to populate your credit reports with more information. It's that simple. So how do you do that? Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to apply for credit, which means that as you build your credit report over time, which means as you open credit card accounts, as you open retail store cards, petroleum cards, as you have an auto loan, for those of you who have student loans, as you buy a home and you borrow money and a mortgage and buy a home, as you do these things, just naturally more and more information is going to hit your credit reports, and you're going to go from being a credit invisible to a credit visible. You're going to go from being an unscorable consumer to now a scorable consumer. So basically everybody starts out as a credit invisible. No one is born with a credit report and a credit score. We all had our first account, right? I mean, you're not assigned a credit report like you're assigned a social security number. So being a credit invisible is not really something that's really unique to any particular group of consumers, because all of us were a credit invisible at one point in time in our life. Here's a couple of other strategies that I want you to keep in mind. You may be thinking, wait a minute, I don't want to apply for credit just to get more credit information on my reports. Is there any other way? Yes, there is. You've probably seen the commercials for Experian Boost, and that is a way for you to get your utility style accounts on your Experian credit report for free. And Experian's website has a lot of information about Boost, and you can do some research about it and decide if it's for you. The drawback is that it's only for Experian, which means it's not going to help your TransUnion or Equifax credit reports. TransUnion has a relationship with a company called eCredable, little e, big C, Credible. And they have a product that's similar to Boost. It's called Lyft. Not Lyft like a competitor to Uber, but Lyft as in L-I-F-T. And Lyft, similarly, you can add your utility style accounts to your TransUnion credit report. Lyft is not free. I think it's $20 a year, which is a pretty moderate fee to build a credit report. Equifax currently doesn't have a similar option, So Experian Boost for Experian, eCredable Lift for TransUnion, and those are really good ways to get utility accounts on your credit report that you're paying for anyways. You might as well get some credit on your credit reports for the information. And if you do these things and just kind of be reasonable with your expectations and be patient, then you're going to eventually build a really solid credit report that's going to be able to generate really solid FICO and Vantage score credit scores, and lenders are going to be falling all over themselves trying to let you borrow money. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and if you have any other questions about this, drop them in the comment section below. Talk to you later.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.